It is amazing to see so many longtime friends and to realize what we're actually here to do today is to thank you all and show our appreciation. Obviously, we're not having a groundbreaking ceremony, so we already did that, but we wanted to take an opportunity to invite a whole lot of you who have spent almost a decade, as long as we have, developing this project. So we're really happy to have you guys join us today. And certainly we could have invited hundreds of people, and we really wanted to focus it on the people who we know in the past have made and will continue to make a real difference in the success of this project. So thank you very much. The other thing that I really would like to impress upon you is how honored AES and our contractors are to work with so many incredible people in such an engaged community, in such a supportive city, in a state, I think, that is really leading the United States and leading the globe to a clean energy and clean air future. So these types of projects are imperative to that. So thank you all for all the things that you have done. I'd like to remind folks that we have a wetlands right behind us, and to think about the coordination and the collaboration that's required for us to repurpose this facility in this tight-knit community. So thank you for that. Okay, before we go any further, Councilman Patrick Brendan is going to lead us in honoring our country with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please.
Please stand. I think it's interesting to note that the Pledge of Allegiance was created in 1892, and for 125 years, school children have repeated the pledge every morning of school. And it came about in 1892, but Americans have been dying throughout the world since the beginning of our country to preserve the liberty and the freedom that we enjoy. So today, as we recite the pledge, let's remember those individuals, the nearly 1 million Americans who have died to make it possible for us to have freedom and liberty. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, and one other note, obviously, this is an operating power plant inside of a highly active construction site. We have high pressure steam, high temperature steam, high voltage, lots of vehicular traffic. So I feel like I'm a flight attendant. For your safety and the safety of those around you, if you can please stay in your seat and stay in this general area, that would be the best way for us to keep you all safe. In the highly unlikely event that we need to muster or we have an emergency, the AES staff will direct you to those locations or escort you out, okay? Deal? So everybody's gonna stay seated? No one will get hurt. Okay. So with that, I wanna recognize and thank our elected officials and dignitaries that are here today. So first up, California State Assemblyman Matt Harper. Commissioner Karen Douglas of the California Energy Commission. Tim Whitaker, who is here representing the Orange County Board of Supervisors, Chairman Michelle Steele. City of Huntington Beach Mayor Mike Posey, who I understand is now 2 days into the job, or something like that. 6 days. And then City of Huntington Beach Council Member Patrick Brendan, thank you for the pledge. City of Huntington Beach Councilman Billy O'Connell. City of Huntington Beach City Attorney Michael Gates, who's not sitting in his seat. And then also with us, we have many City of Huntington Beach city staff from the fire department and the police department. Oh, thank you. And past Mayor Barbara Del Blaze, thank you. Do you see how many people were pointing at you? Okay. And then one last round of applause for the city staff from the police and the fire department, the leadership, and some of their staff. So in addition to that resounding list of elected officials, and we thank you all for being here, we also have tremendous support from our local community, and we we'd be remiss if we didn't call out those community groups. So, in no particular order, the Huntington Beach Wetlands Authority, thank you for being here. The Bolsa Chica Conservancy, I think I saw someone. The Coast Keepers, and the Huntington Beach Chamber of Commerce. So we would not be here today without all of your engagement and your support. And then, of course, in addition to that, we need to thank the California regulators, the authorities, and some of our suppliers. Again, in no order, the California Public Utility Commission, the California Grid Operator, the California Energy Commission, the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and SoCalGas. So thank you all for your support. And then finally, without our customer, Southern California Edison, we really wouldn't have a contract and wouldn't be able to build this facility. So thank you all for all of your support. Okay, so I'm Jennifer Didlow. I have the dubious honor of being the president of AES Southland. AES Southland owns the 3 facilities that we purchased from Southern California Edison in Huntington Beach, Redondo Beach, and in Long Beach. And I want to take a minute and call out some of the folks on the development team. So Stephen O'Kane, right here in the front. Eric Pendergraft is there. Thank you. Ruben Soretta, hopefully he didn't go on his plane. I see Delia Gomez. I think that's everybody that's here. So thank you guys. And then, of course, the president of the AES Huntington Beach facility, Waco Werda, and his leadership with the operations team. Okay, so as I said, we've spent more than a decade, like thousands of hours, working on this project through the design and the planning and the regulatory process to get us here. And let me tell you, the city of Huntington Beach and this community is much more than a professional commitment to us. Many of us live here. We send our children to school here, we recreate here, we enjoy the wetlands, right? So it is as professionally important as it is personally important that this project fits in the community and that we create something that everybody can be proud of, because this facility is going to help keep the lights on for the next 20 years. So we really appreciate having that relationship, that it's not just professional, it's a personal commitment. A little bit about AES, and then we're going to show a short video. So we're a Fortune 200 global power company. We provide safe, reliable, sustainable energy around the world in 18 countries through a very diverse portfolio of assets. In fact, over a quarter of those assets are green resources, and we're pretty proud of that. We have a workforce of more than 18,000 people who are committed to operational safety, operational excellence, and meeting the world's changing needs. So what is a world-changing energy need as we decarbonize our future? What we really need is we need flexible, controllable generation that will enable the largest amount of integrated renewables. And the facility that we're building is going to be just that. It's going to be able to start quickly, run only when it's needed, and be at the output that is needed to be. And all of that will make sure that we're being as responsible as we can be, shepherding our resources. We're going to have reliability in our system. We're going to eliminate the use of ocean water entirely. We're going to cut the use of our freshwater consumption by 60%. We're going to reduce our carbon footprint by half. And we're going to responsibly reuse this industrial land. So that's what I mean by providing a controllable, flexible resource that's really the responsible thing to do. Okay, so with that, we're going to show a short and energetic, yes, pun intended, video, and then we'll have our distinguished guys come up and speak.
We help you start your morning, power you through the day, and light your night when the day is done. We're AES, the energy people, one of the largest generators of electricity in the world. With more than 30 years of global energy leadership, we're helping California and the western states chart a new course to a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable energy future, balancing the need for power with respect for where we live.
Improving people's lives. That's what we're about at AES. AES is a Fortune 200 company operating in 18 countries. The electricity we generate and distribute provides safe, reliable, and sustainable energy to tens of millions of people.
To put more green in energy portfolios, we're harnessing the wind, putting the sun to work, and filling in the gaps with our clean-burning natural gas facilities to provide sustainable and affordable electricity. reliably to keep the power flowing.
In every market, our actions are guided by the goal of building a sustainable future while meeting today's ever-changing needs for energy.
Our innovative distributed energy products, like rooftop solar, are cutting electricity bills, expanding energy choices, and giving consumers more power over the energy they use. As a leader in stored energy technology, we're building the world's largest battery storage facility in Long Beach, California, allowing us to store and distribute electricity when and where it's needed most, with zero emissions, using no fresh water.
Our battery applications allow increased use of renewables such as solar and wind while maintaining the reliability of the energy we deliver.
We're reducing emissions even more by modernizing our natural gas facilities in Southern California, improving efficiency, cutting water use up to 60%, and eliminating the need for ocean water entirely. At AES, we invest in dynamic energy solutions, our workers, and the people of the communities we serve, helping expand educational opportunities, nurture respect for the environment, and improve our community's quality of life.
Sustainability to us is the energy to create a lasting difference for our communities. That's how we improve lives.
Dynamic, innovative, dedicated to sustainable energy and a clean energy future for California and beyond. We're AES, the energy people.
Thanks. Okay, a couple more tidbits. So AES has been serving electricity to customers in California for more than 30 years. So we started in the Santa Clarita Valley. We bought these facilities here. We've owned biomass facilities in the Central Valley. We own wind. I'm sure you've seen it out on Highway 10 on the way to Palm Springs. We own large and small scale solar facilities in San Diego, Antelope Valley, on Amazon rooftops, the Golden One Arena in Sacramento. And actually we just recently deployed, I have to say one of, because I think Elon Musk now has 10 megawatt hours larger than ours in Australia, but one of the largest battery energy storage facilities in the world in San Diego and Escondido in response to the Aliso Canyon gas crisis, which I will tell you, a decade ago, we would have just put more combustion resources, and instead we were able to solve the problem with a battery energy storage system. And maybe you saw in that video at our other facility in Long Beach, we're actually fixing to build the largest. It'll be 400 megawatt hours, 100 by 4 hours of battery energy storage. So AES has always had this innovative spirit, and I think that the thing that's special about Huntington Beach is our ability to put this power plant right here in this highly engaged community next to the wetlands. And we're pretty excited about how it's going to look, believe it or not. I don't know that all of our surfing community is, because we're going to rip down those stacks and they'd like us to keep them. So, this innovative spirit I think we're demonstrating in Huntington Beach as well. So the last thing I'll mention, the socioeconomic benefits of this project are immense. AES is already enabling the billions of private investment in this community, which ultimately will result in hundreds of millions of high-paying man-hours, hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of this project in this community. So from an economic perspective, the community is also going to benefit. So really, what does all this mean? I think here and in Long Beach, this really AES and this community, it helps propel us to the front, right, so that we can help the region and the state lead the world in this clean energy and clean air objectives. So with that, we have an opportunity to hear from 4 distinguished speakers, and you guys probably don't know what order you're going in. This is going to be awesome. Perfect. Okay. So our first speaker, so John, you're up first. Our first speaker is the Executive Director of the Huntington Beach Wetlands Conservancy, so John Vila. Thank you very much. So the Wetlands Conservancy is a nonprofit community-based organization. It's a group of private citizens that really looks out to acquire, restore, and manage coastal wetlands. You guys manage, I think, almost 127 acres of wetlands. That's fantastic. And you've created this wildlife center that's just west of us. And John, I want to say that we really appreciate your personal commitment and the collaborative nature that you've worked with us so that we can continue to make sure that the wetlands are protected and that this project can move forward. So with that, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. So yeah, I'm the executive director for the Huntington Beach Wetlands Conservancy. I usually start off this speech with where the other wetlands. A lot of people understand and know the Bolsa Chica wetlands. It's further west of us. It's a set of wetlands that's owned by the state of California. But in this case, the Huntington Beach Wetlands Conservancy, we physically own the property here. And it wouldn't be without the assistance of companies like AES to help us protect what we have, to help us in our job, in our mission. So our mission is to acquire, restore, and maintain the wetlands here in Huntington Beach, and then we educate the public in what we do. So our working with AES, I've only been with the organization for about 2 years now, but the Conservancy itself has worked with AES since they took over the property from SCE 20-some years ago, as just mentioned. And we've had a very good working relationship and collaboration with AES over that period of time. So as this project has been progressing, the AES staff, all the way from Waco, all the way down to individuals working in this organization, have not been afraid of giving me a call and say, John, we're working on fill in the blank. And with that, we go out and we walk the property. They let me know what it is they're working on. If there's issues that are along our border between the wetlands and the AES properties, we actually go out there with the biologists to make sure there's nothing that's going to be done that's going to harm the wetlands themselves. I don't know if people understand this, but we actually have up to 79 different species of birds that go into our wetlands every year. We do a bird count every January 1st. This year there were 79 different species, and of those there were 8 species that are on the endangered species list. So it's doing work like that and actually being concerned about, is that pickleweed, sagegrass, or a weed that we need to get rid of? That's what AES has been doing with us. It's going out there and walking the perimeter to make sure that we're not doing anything to harm the environment and harm our wetlands. They even has gone as far as making sure that when they do this next project for us, which is going to be the fence line that separates the 2 properties, they're not going to be doing any of that work during what we call nesting season, which is from mid-February to mid-August. They're going beyond that and working beyond that scope to make sure there's no issues or concerns. Safety's been a concern for both of our organizations, and David, he's I think somewhere in the back, I saw him earlier. He and I walk the property every couple of weeks to make sure if there's issues out there, we notify HBPD. If there's an issue with homeless people, we try to work with organizations to see what we can do to move the people off the premises, not arrest them unless there's an issue, because this is private property. We can't have them arrested for trespassing. But we try to work with local organizations and the local police to just have the individuals removed. So AES has been a fantastic partner with us. They've helped us in the past with providing us funding for a variety of things on our site, including getting the interpretive center. There was property there that was owned by SCE that was deeded over to the Huntington Beach Wetlands Conservancy. And we continue to work with them, and they continue to work with us to help us with our missions, our goals, and what we're trying to do with the future. So I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you for those comments. So I would agree. I think that collectively this community is better off because of this partnership. Okay, so next I am happy to introduce Huntington Beach Mayor Mike Posey. You guys are like short straw on it, right? So Mike has been a resident of Huntington Beach for nearly 20 years, and he and his wife Jeannie had a manufacturing business in Huntington Beach. I think you were elected city council in 2014, have had an opportunity prior to that to serve on the planning commission. I understand you're the 4th of July, on the 4th of July parade board, advisory board to the Bolsa Chica Conservancy, so a lot of volunteer dedicated work in the community. So after learning details about the project, Mike really got on board and is an avid supporter. And I would also like to give a shout out to Barbara Del Glaze, who's behind him, the previous mayor, and I think, you know, the two of you and all of your colleagues have been tremendous support for this project and for AES, so please give a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, the first person I wanted to thank is Mr. Stephen O'Kane. Surprise, surprise. Stephen has come to our Southeast Area Committee meetings faithfully, monthly, and given us very cogent updates on what's happening with the construction project. So I appreciate your presence there. You have an ability to deflect a lot of angst, and you deliver good news. So thank you for your dedication to the city and delivering the message. And thank you, Jennifer, too, for the kind introduction. As noted, I did review the project as a planning commissioner, as a city councilman, and prior to being elected. We all know what's going on. People ask what's happening with the AES plan. Is this going to stick around? Are they going to change it? So I followed it. I also supported the resolution recommending the architectural modifications. Was excited to see the changes, a lower profile. And like the surfing community, what I'm not excited about is losing our landmark. So I drive to San Diego quite a bit, and coming over the 73, I got that beacon, and the beacon's there, and it just draws me home, and I'll have to find another beacon, I guess. Maybe we'll build a lighthouse or something, I don't know.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, we'll build a lighthouse. I'm pleased to know that AES is working through the issues of concern with the city, and that is really demonstrated by Stephen's commitment to come and speak to us. So we're really excited about that, excited about the community environmental benefits. I know we talked about the environmental benefits, and I spoke at the AQMD and argued unsuccessfully for the sphere of influence was a radius, and I forget the miles, but the sphere of influence included about 50% of ocean, and I said, well, we can't do too many environmental improvements over the ocean. I was trying to argue for more land coverage, and I'm still waiting for them to get back to me on that one. We also know that when I just said that the footprint is going to be smaller, more compact, no ocean water. The self-contained cooling system is an exciting technology that I learned about from Stephen and from Waco too. And $1 billion investment that creates hundreds of jobs. We're here at the groundbreaking, and the ground has already been broken, so we can see what's going on. There's a tremendous amount of construction activity here. The before pictures are right there by the buffets to see how this looked before 1960, and here it is 60 years later almost. Well, it will be 60 years later from turn on to turn on, so 60 years of technological improvements, making it smaller, more efficient, and generating more electricity and cleaner electricity too. So, and this is a big project for Huntington Beach. We have some back-to-back projects following this. This is the leading project, and it's exciting for me and exciting for us, and it's an exciting time to be in Huntington Beach. Thank you for your commitment.
Next, it's my honor to introduce Tim Whitaker, who's here representing the Orange County Board of Supervisors, Chairman Michelle Steele. So one thing, if I can impress this upon you, is Supervisor Steele and her staff have played a really important role. We were on a very tight timeline, and we needed a lot line adjustment, which maybe sounds like a small thing, but she really took the time, her and her staff took the time to understand it, Raj is laughing, and really dug in and helped us get what we needed in a timely fashion, actually, so we could go to financial close. We were able to issue our notice to proceed to our contractors on time, which is pretty amazing after a 10-year project to literally be June 3 against a June 1 date. So we really want to thank you for all of that hard work and understanding how important the issue was to us. So,
thank you. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the chairwoman of the Board of Supervisors, the supervisor in the 2nd District, of which Huntington Beach is part of, Michelle Steele. And what Jennifer just talked to you about is very true. You probably don't realize how important your little toe is until you stub that son of a gun, and you break it, and you realize how that messes up your forward progress. And I know it was a Saturday, as a matter of fact, I got a call on my personal cell, actually from Councilmember Brendan, that said, I was talking to Waco, and we're gonna need some help on something out of your boss. And who knew that it would be a lot line adjustment, a very small lot line adjustment with SCE, to allow this project, a $1 billion project, to go forward. And you would think that would be a simple phone call, get on it, boom. Took a little bit more than that, but I called my boss and I said, Chairwoman, here's what's going on. And she said, Tim, stop what you're doing, get right on it, take care of it, make sure staff follows through with it, get with the department that has to handle it so that this thing is not delayed. So we did that. We did our job, which is nothing more, nothing less. I know it was important to AES, But I know one of the things that she really appreciates about AES, and we love that you're here. We love that what you're doing for the economic benefit for this city, this awesome city, this region, and what it's going to do. We love the footprint that you are bringing. We also, especially, we love the fact that you are into renewable energy. I myself am a walking billboard for the chairwoman, as I am solar powered. And so when I'm in the sun, I charge in about 20 minutes, and I'm good for a couple days. But it's more than just that AES is a large corporation with a huge economic benefit. It really comes down to personal interaction with members of your staff. And yes, we would have given the same attention if a constituent called, whether big or small. But you know, I got to tell you, if you don't know who Waco is, the fact that you allow that man to be involved in the community to the extent that he is, what he brings to, yes, Waco, what he brings, I know he's over there, and it's hard for him to hunch down because he's like 7 feet tall. Waco's involvement with the chamber, Waco's involvement when a local small high school got broken into and had their football equipment stolen, and it was right at the start of the season, and Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa needed a shot quickly to make up some stuff. Waco got on it and got AES to help provide some fast cash so that equipment could be replaced so they could go on and have a successful season, which, by the way, they did make it to the first part of the CIF, got thumped, but they made it to CIF. But those are the things, those intangibles, actually they're quite tangible, that are just very important. And the chairwoman is just, she'd be herself, by the way, but she's in DC for the week with her husband. They're doing some things back there, helping make California great again. But what we have for you, Jennifer, it's a team effort, and we love Huntington Beach, and this is what you do need to know. One more thing. We represent 10 cities normally. We're about to end our year as chair of the board in about 2 weeks, and that means there's 34 cities, but normally we have 10 cities. The most exciting things are happening in Huntington Beach. I gotta tell you, you guys couldn't be in a better spot, you know this. And what I want to do at this point, because we have a presentation, but Mr. Mayor, protocol, please, would you come up, because I want to have you help do this as well. Former mayor, matter of fact, where's your elected? Mr. O'Connell, come up. Patrick Brendan, please come up. I think anybody else here elected city council? Former mayor? Ah, okay. And former mayor Joe Carcio, that's right.
Come on, Joe.
Joe, come on up here, sir. Come on up here. So this is a testament on behalf of the city that is probably the most forward-thinking, innovative, state-of-the-art, out in front of everybody else, no matter what it is, whether it's building an all-inclusive park on the beach to helping make this happen and be involved with it. The chairwoman wants you to have the certificate of recognition that says, in honor of the celebration of construction for your new state-of-the-art natural gas power plant, which will provide Orange County and the region with a sustainable and an economically viable future, producing hundreds of good-paying jobs in our community and generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue for the city, county, and state. She's extremely proud of this moment, and on her behalf, it's an honor and a pleasure to present this to you with the members of the City Council.
I want to welcome Matt, the 74th District Assemblyman, Matt Harper. What can I say about Matt? So I think he's pretty much done it all in Huntington Beach, right? So real estate broker, school board trustee for 12 years, councilman, mayor, and in fact in 2014 he came down and welcomed the AES senior leadership and expressed upon them how important it was. We work with the city, and I think since then it's been smooth sailing. So you've been involved with this project, I think, as long as I have, and as long as the development team has. So definitely influential in communicating in Sacramento the importance of the project. We really appreciate all of your support, and obviously along with Assemblyman Travis Allen, who couldn't be here today, but You personally and your leadership team have been instrumental to the success of this project. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction. And I agree, I feel like I've been involved with this project for a very, very long time. I'd like to congratulate the AES team on this momentous occasion as we celebrate the AES project, the AES Huntington Beach Energy Project is a work in progress that, look at this. I think the last time I've seen this many machines is almost never. This is pretty serious. I think the last time I was on a project that was similar to this was when they were just starting to build the Paseo Hotel, but this is just on a completely different and amazing level. This day has been a long time coming. Over 5 years in the state regulatory process and another 5 years in planning and development. And Joe Carcio and I were back on the City Council when we did the major approvals for this project. And it has been a long process, but it's indicative of the fact that both AES and California Energy Commission, which is the regulatory, have followed through a very thorough and fair process in a transparent process that's led to the approval of AES Huntington Beach Energy Project. In other words, it's been a real process of making sure that the community has been involved, has had their input, elected leaders and other stakeholders have been able to help make this the most successful project that it possibly can be. There are other reasons why we need a new, clean, reliable power plant here in Huntington Beach. One is that the state has, of course, established sustainability goals which call for renewable energy to represent 33% of our energy use in the state of California by 2020 and 50% by 2030. In addition, new state laws require that older power plants along the coast significantly reduce the use of ocean water for the cooling purposes. And that legislation was passed before I was a member of the Assembly, but I know that it will help protect our coastline in the 74th District and throughout the region. I am a very strong supporter of a diverse energy portfolio of energy in this rapidly growing use of wind and solar as other uses of energy, but I understand that wind only blows so much and your water is not always available for your hydroelectric dams and your sun doesn't always shine. In fact, I've participated in many places where I've been able to learn about how California, the ISO in fact has what they call the duck curve, which makes it so that your wind is available during one part of the night usually, and is usually not available during the day when there's peak uses. And so natural gas, like this facility, is incredibly important that we make sure that we have that on-demand use when Californians need their energy, especially when it comes to cooling needs during the summer, even though not so much here in Huntington Beach. Feels like it some this year, but usually not. The AES Huntington Beach Energy Project's outstanding example of sustainability and reliability working together. And while this has been mentioned previously, I find this change in the energy facility to be incredibly compelling and beneficial to this community. From a reliable and flexibility perspective, this new state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly generation plant can be activated in as little as 10 minutes and meet the energy demands during peak usage in California. And this replaces the existing 1950s generation plant, which sometimes can take up to 10 hours to start. Remember how I told you about that duck curve? This makes it so when the solar isn't meeting the needs, or the wind isn't meeting the needs, or the hydroelectric isn't meeting the needs, this plant can start just like that in order to meet California's energy needs. I have the privilege of representing this facility within the California's 74th State Assembly District, and I want to congratulate and bring Jennifer back up here and congratulate AES on a job well done. This will be a tremendous asset for the community as well as all of Southern California, and I look forward to the completed project in a couple of years. Let's hear a couple of years. I remember when we were talking this when I was running for City Council, we said it would be done by 2018. It would be just a little off, but let's make sure that this is on so Californians and Southern Californians throughout the region can enjoy the reliable power, the reliable energy infrastructure that this plant is going to provide.